Let's talk about the race for the 8 in the URC, the penultimate round of matches, which gets underway tonight as I record this. There's games Friday and there's games all through the day on Saturday. Hopefully, with the Premiership Rugby, with the URC, with the top 4 team reaching a crescendo, Club Rugby, this is as good as it gets. And hopefully, you've completely abandoned all friends, family, children, and just cleared the schedule so that you can just do nothing but watch rugby. That's what I intend to do. And I'll be bringing you lots of videos on the channel over the next couple of days. So yeah, let's get into the URC then. And this is how the table looks. I've left out the 6 teams at the bottom who can't reach the playoffs. The top 8 is what everyone is fighting for. 10 teams going for it. But as well as top 8 and getting into the playoffs, there's the possibility of getting home quarter-final and maybe even home semi-final. Teams still have that up for grabs. So I will run you through the fixtures, the teams, what people need and what I think is going to happen. Give the video a thumbs up, tell me what you reckon. And what's brilliant about the fixtures, actually, just going back to it, is the 6 teams that are out of this table that I've just left off because they can't qualify for the playoffs, they're all playing each other this weekend. So every single one of the 10 teams that can make it are all playing each other, which is just a brilliant twist of fate. So yeah, Friday, ignore Zebre against Scarlets, doesn't matter. It's all about Edinburgh against Munster. And this is absolutely huge. Just a reminder that if teams are tied on points in the table, it will go on games won first, then points difference, tries and points scored after that. So Edinburgh, 6 points for them should be enough to get themselves into the top 8. So I would say bonus points, maybe a couple of bonus points or 1 bonus point at least, wouldn't be a bad result against Munster. Obviously they're going for the win and that's the prize that they want, but they've still got a shot if they get bonus points against the champions Munster. For Munster, the prize for them is trying to leapfrog Leinster or Glasgow into a top 2 spot and get a home quarter and semi-final should they get there. As for the teams, well, Edinburgh have gone as strong as they possibly could, an all-international pack. Yeah, they don't have Buffelli, they don't have Darcy Graham in their back 3, but that is a class team. And you look at that side and you think they should be higher up in the table than they are. Look at that pack. Very, very good. They're up against Munster. It'll be packed out at the Hive Stadium in Edinburgh. It'll be absolutely packed tonight. And Jack O'Donoghue, the youngest man to get to 200 appearances for Munster, is in the back row. And that's some accolade as well. Interesting looking at the bench. It is absolutely stacked. R.G. Sneeman on the bench. What's the thinking there? Are they kind of thinking they've got points on board and they'll use the guys on the bench if they need to? No Peter Omani, no Simon Zebo. Injuries? I don't exactly know what the situation is there. This could go either way. This is going to be a great game. I could see Edinburgh winning it. Munster are coming into some championship form at the minute, so I'm going to say Munster will sneak it just. Maybe the bench with R.G. Sneeman and Tom Ahern on it could be influential in the final 20 minutes. On to Saturday then, and again, all the Premiership games, remember, are kicking off at 3:05. That's where my focus will be then, which is great because I can watch the Bulls v Benetton before it. 1 p.m. kickoff UK time on Saturday. And the Bulls, 5 points and they get a home quarter-final. The semi-final for them, if they do get the bonus point win, will also still be in play going into the final round of matches. That's the best that they can hope to do. Benetton, they need... I would say they want to get, much like Glasgow did at the Bulls last week, they want to get 2 losing bonus points minimum. They need 7 points to guarantee making the playoffs. So it looks like it's all going down to Benetton v Edinburgh next weekend. As for the teams, I'm getting very excited about this. You have got a stacked Bulls team. Their back 3, we know about that, but what about the back row? We don't see this back row enough. Van Staden, Lowe and Hanekom. That's what I want to see. I'm very, very excited about seeing the Bulls. That is a stacked team. Yeah, and if they bring their A game, then Benetton don't have a hope, despite the fact. And yeah, thank you, Benetton. The options for the team sheet were either a video on their Twitter account or looking like someone's just typed it up on Microsoft Word on their website. So there you go. All you need to know, there's a load of international players there. It's going to be good. But I say Bulls are coming out of that one with a win. The other games on Saturday, you've got the Lions against Glasgow Warriors. You've got Connacht against Stormers. All 4 of these teams can make the playoffs. Glasgow Warriors have guaranteed that they're already in the playoffs. Let's look at Lions versus Glasgow first. And Lions, well, they're behind the 8 ball a little bit. They want Connacht and Edinburgh to miss out. They're also, by the way, hoping that the Sharks lose in the Champions Cup final next Friday, so that they've still got a chance of getting into the Champions Cup. But they absolutely have to win this one. They have to beat Glasgow. 9 points is what Glasgow need to guarantee, from their final 2 games that is, to guarantee a home semi-final. As for the teams, the Lions stacked again, and they've got some absolute ballers. Shatuka is into the starting lineup after 2 tries off the bench to get the win last weekend. Horn is a player I love to watch. They've got some talent. They've got a lot of guys that are just on the fringes of the Springbok squad and are maybe looking to try and press their claim for being included in the wider squad ahead of the internationals. So they've got lots to play for there, not least the top 8 and potential Champions Cup spot as well. As for Glasgow, they have rotated. They've got a lot of good players, and you look, there's internationals right the way through there, but on the bench, both the Ferguson brothers and Jack Dempsey. So what's going on there? I think Edinburgh have got points on the board. They back themselves with their wider squad to maybe come away from the Lions with a result anyway, but actually they're thinking about the battles that they've still got to come in 2 weeks' time and beyond, because they're definitely going to be in the playoffs. They want to wrap up that home semi-final though. They've got the chance to do that. So we'll wait and see whether that risk selection-wise, I'm not sure it is a risk, but we'll see. Glasgow, with the form they're in, should have too much, but Lions desperate to win. I think they could. As for Connacht against the Stormers, tricky place to go, Galway. And Connacht, they need Edinburgh to lose their games. And they're also going to be cheering on Gloucester in the Challenge Cup final next weekend. So the 8th spot in the table goes to the Champions Cup. And they want to, well, I think they need to pick up at least, I mean, they have to win this game. It's their final home game. Let's just say it. They have to win. Absolutely have to win as a minimum. Try bonus point as well could be needed. 5:05 kickoff Saturday night. Stormers, 5 points seals quarter-final status for them. They will want the Bulls or Munster to lose. And if that happens, or Bulls or Munster to lose, I should say, if that happens, they have a chance in the final round of games in a fortnight to be playing for a home quarter-final, not just a place in the quarter-finals. But it is shaping up like it could well be 4th place the Bulls against 5th place Stormers in the first round of knockouts. The North v South, South African derby, Pretoria versus Cape Town, that could be spicy. But anyway, long way to go before that. As for the teams, Connacht, they've gone as strong as they can. There's some big guys missing, like, Mac Hansen's still not back. As for the Stormers, 3 changes from the team. Interesting to see Evan Roos at 6. See how he does as a bit of a scavenger. Can he add that element to his game? Or does that mean they're just going to try and go very, very direct? I mean, that front 5 should be a match for anybody, shouldn't it? So, I think the Stormers will come away with a result from Connacht, although, as I say, very tricky place to go. And finally, 7:35 p.m. kickoff on Saturday night. I mean, just ignore the Sharks against Cardiff. Unless you're a fan of one of those sides, it's inconsequential for the URC this season. Ulster versus Leinster, however, very, very consequential. Ulster, well, they need to get 5 points, including at least 1 win from their last 2 games to have a shot, due to the way that the criteria for how you qualify. Ulster have gone full bore against Leinster. Leinster, I was interested to see their team. How much would they rotate? How many people would they leave on the sidelines? How many people would they give game minutes to? They need 2 points to guarantee a home quarter-final, 9 points from their last 2 games, and they will have a home semi-final as well, should they get there. They've got the Champions Cup final next weekend, of course. Ulster, as strong as they can go, as you would imagine. All of the big guns are there. They can't leave anything to chance. They'll go down swinging. They are missing Balakoon at the minute, of course, but other than that, all the people you'd expect to see. As for Leinster, this is where the interesting selection is, because, they have rested a load of their frontline players for the Champions Cup final next weekend. But however, it's still a damn good team. Look how many internationals are still in that lineup, not least James Ryan returning after injury, Hugo Keenan returning after injury, Jimmy O'Brien getting game time after injury, and you add to that Jack Conan, Will Connors, you have got Rob Kelleher, you have got Cian Healy. I keep going on. There's just classy players everywhere you look, which speaks to just how deep the resources at Leinster are, just how good their squad is. It's frightening, isn't it? And and also they are motivated. They want that home quarter-final and semi-final, and the players like James Ryan want to prove themselves worthy of a starting place in the Champions Cup final next weekend. One person that's not in this team sheet, which will be a concern to Leinster fans, is Gary Ringrose. He's not there, which means, next weekend, thinking of the Champions Cup, I don't know that you can pick Gary Ringrose, can you? If he is fit and available, can you pick him completely cold with no rugby since his injury? The other players involved are playing so well, I'm not sure you can. So that's an interesting one. I'll be interested to see what Leo Cullen has to say about that particular element. But fundamentally, all we need to know is this is going to be an amazing round of games. And we're going to have a much, much clearer picture by Saturday night just who is going to make the top 8 in the URC, which I have to say, with every year that goes by and every year that those rivalries building up, is turning into a more and more entertaining competition, isn't it? What do you reckon? Comments down below, thumbs up, hit subscribe. See you on the next one. Enjoy the rugby this weekend and keep checking in for the content on the channel.